Let's rock, baby.
Let's do it.
Madison Podcast. I am your host, the great, handsome, hilarious, and humble Ben Lavender, New York's favorite British mortgage broker. Today we have a wonderful guest, special guest, who we've actually, Josh, I've completely forgot to mention this when we walked in. We did a deal together.
Yes, we
over
did.
a year ago.
We did.
And Josh, he's not going to say it, so I'm going to say it for him. He had the best experience of his life.
Without a doubt.
There we go. Like I said, extremely humble. So Josh is with Real Broker.
Correct.
Right. And Josh, you've been in the business for 3.5 years.
Yes.
You do, without blowing too much smoke up, you do a tremendous amount of business, and you even run a team.
Correct.
Right,
Yeah.
which is awesome. We do have a couple things that we want to talk about in terms of agenda. We'll get to lead to list, but for those people that don't know you, tell us everything that we need to know, as little or as much as you
Sure.
like.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, my name is Josh, last name Pismeny, also known as List with JP out in the field. From Deer Park, born and raised, just recently bought a house in Islip.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, fully redid the house, so it's been a lot, but it's been great. I operate a small team right now called the Coast to Skyline over at Real Broker. We do business all in the 5 boroughs, Long Island, and then as well in South Florida, in Palm Beach County, Broward County, and Miami-Dade County.
Okay, so let's talk about the first thing.
Yeah.
Is that because the audience tends to be a mix of mortgage brokers, agents, and other
Okay.
people just in the business. So your production's quite impressive.
Thank you.
Right? So, of course. What people would like to know is, how's that possible? Right? Because the average person entering the business, it's a hard business.
It is.
Okay? And it doesn't prep you, or rather the licensing requirements doesn't prep you for getting business, which that's a whole other conversation. I don't think it should be required to. It should be responsible to teach you how to conduct yourself fairly in a good manner. But the other piece is, how do you go from nothing to closing 10, 20, 30 plus deals a year? So can you talk about, Josh, like how you did that and at such a young age as well?
Yeah, so I kind of, when I got into this business, I kind of said, all right, I'm going to sacrifice the first year in my mind and say, I don't care if I make any money. I'm just going to come in here, learn as much as I can, and then after the first year, kind of reevaluate. And the first year, I only did a couple of deals, and that was more towards the end of the year. I really didn't do a deal, I don't think, till month 8 or 9 in the business. But for me, it was perfectly okay. I put my head down. I worked as many open houses as I can. I went to every seminar I can, every webinar I was on. I treated it like a job, right? I put in 40 hours a week that first year like you're supposed to, where a lot of agents and lenders kind of sometimes don't realize that they're barely working.
Yeah.
You know?
Can you talk more about that, actually? No, because
You know?
that's like the ugly thing that I think people are
Yeah.
scared to talk about, because it can sound offensive,
Yeah.
but it is true, right?
No, it is
Just
true.
because you're active for the whole day and you think
Yeah.
like your mind's on work, there's a very different thing between
It's
you know,
true.
attending podcasts and webinars
Yeah.
and doing actual work. You can be as mean or as nice as you like, Josh, but can
No,
you talk more about
I've had
that?
this conversation with several people on my team this past week and other new agents within the past couple of weeks. And, you know, and like you said, it could be a little mean or rude at time, but when you really ask them, how many hours a week did you work last week?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about real work, not scrolling on Zillow, like actual work.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you hear these answers and you say, hey, how many hours did you really put in? You really think about it, you realize, holy shit, I may have only worked 6 hours last week, 7 hours last week. And, you know, how are you going to have a successful business if you're not going to actually put in a full work week, which is 40 hours?
So
You know?
I want you to go a little bit deeper on that,
Yeah.
if you would, please.
For sure.
How do you define real work?
Yeah. So it would be outbound prospecting.
Okay.
Going to, I consider work, if you're going to a seminar or attending a webinar to learn, I consider work.
Okay.
So that's fine. Content with...
As long as you don't take advantage of it and attend 8 hours worth of webinars
Yes,
a week.
exactly.
Right, yeah.
But you're out there, you're learning, you're honing on your skills, and that's part of you working. So
Right.
if you're doing seminars, webinars, I consider that work. If you're out purposeful networking, that's work. Whether it's later in the evening or something like that, that's purposeful work. But obviously legit work. How many clients are you showing a week? How many open houses are you doing a week? You know, that's all under the work umbrella with the prospecting. You know, even now, if you want to go shoot social media content, some people think it's fun, some people don't think it's fun. Whatever you think it is, it's still work.
Yeah, we're working right now. Yeah. It's just enjoyable and fairly easy.
So something that ties into whether it's helping your business grow or actively working on your business is work. But, you know, you gotta put in the hours, you know, and that's what it comes down to.
So I want to stay on the subject for a second.
Let's do it, yeah.
Let's talk about the non-learning type of activity. What works for you, or even for your team as well, Josh, in terms of, you know, the typical income-producing activity?
Yeah.
Like, what do you find that works really well, especially in this market?
Yeah. So recently, in the past year, I'll speak on my personal business. It's been social media, actively nurturing your social media, and open houses have been huge for me. I worked as many open houses as I can ever since I got into business. Right. This year I slowed down a little bit and started giving it out to the team. But I was doing open houses every single weekend pretty much since I got in.
I want to touch on both of these.
Yeah.
These open houses, were they at the time, because you were early, I imagine they were other agents' open houses?
Correct,
that
yeah.
You did?
So
okay.
I was proactive. One of the things I'll recommend for newer age, I was proactive. I would reach out to any of the investors or builders I saw on Instagram or that were in my office and say, hey, can I work your open house this weekend? Hey, can I work your open house this weekend?
Old school hustle, baby.
Old school hustle. Yeah. And it worked for me. It gave me an opportunity to potentially get buyers and clients. It gave me an opportunity to film a newly renovated or new construction home. So it was free content for me. I was already at the property for the open house. So I would be there already. If it was slow, even better for me, instead of scrolling social media, I would make a video. So
and you made the videos yourself?
I made them myself. Yeah. Majority of my videos were made by myself. I have had professional videos done as well, but don't recommend that for somebody that's not, you know, closing, because financially it doesn't make sense. You got to pay for it. They're expensive. Yeah. But the videos that I do on my own always perform better anyway, usually. You know,
because it has your mind, right? Because when you're recording, you have a creative process. I always find this as well. Whenever I look at anyone on social media in our business or out of it, the people with the best content tend to be the ones that produce it themselves. Yeah. I imagine because they have the entire vision behind it, so they get it.
Yeah, so that worked. And I started working for one investor doing his open houses. One of the first ones I did for him, I had a buyer come in, unrepresented, was a cash buyer, closed it. He gave me my full commission. And since then, I've done 3 or 4 deals for this gentleman, and he's also referred me business too. Amazing. So, you know, and that was just because I was aggressively asking people in my office, can I work open houses? And, you know, a relationship that, you know, has been grateful to my business paid off. You know?
And I'm sure you've probably got others like
I have other stories. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to go back to is that you talked about nurturing on social media.
Yeah.
What exactly does that look like?
Yeah.
As in, like, literally how, as opposed to just, you know, liking, commenting type thing.
For example.
It's got to be intentional.
Yeah, that first year in the business, I was posting a bunch of house tour videos, right? I didn't get that first year any business from it at all. And this is what I'm telling people on my team as well, is like, you have to post for a long time, right? A lot of those people that saw me post in the first year may have been friends, family, past people, and I just maybe started to get the random buyer audience, right? But they don't know me as the real estate professional yet. I was just started posting, but then they saw me post it for 2 years straight. Going into year 3, all I've been doing is posting real estate. Now, the first thing they think about real estate is, oh, List with JP. I see him posting every week, right?
It's a good name too,
now,
List with JP.
and it's a little catchy, right?
Catchy, yeah.
So now, after posting, engaging with the audience for well over a year, this year I saw a ton of business come directly from social media, but it didn't happen overnight. It wasn't just 3 videos I posted in a week and, oh, here we go, Josh has business. No, so I took the time for a long time to do it.
Did you go into it with that expectation, like, this is going to take time, my audience has to get used to seeing me this way?
Yes and no. I mean, I was just doing it because I knew I would eventually get the business. I had some mentors that were getting business directly from social media, so I had the proof of concept in the back of my mind. I also thought it was a good opportunity instead of me posting, hey, I'm a real estate agent flyer like you see and stuff, or I would just go do a house tour. I feel like putting myself in front of real estate was a better marketing strategy than just throwing up a Canva flying saying, hey, I'm a real estate agent. Are you looking to sell or buy a home? And there's nothing wrong with that. But
it's
from
more
my marketing,
social proof, though.
Yeah.
It's like if they see you there, then it's like, yeah, he actually does this.
Is in the field working, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm on my stories at all the open houses I was doing. I'm posting that I'm working these open houses. Like, you're already there working it. Post it for the people that don't know you're working it. Now they know you're actively working in the business. You actively have houses, you know, that you can help them.
How many leads would you say you get a month from it?
Social media. So unfortunately, I'm not great with my KPIs in terms of tracking. I can track 7 deals, I think, this year from social media.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly how many leads are coming in from it, but I know like I've had several closings from it.
Well, that's okay. It leads me to another question: is that when the leads do reach out to you, how do the conversations typically go?
Yeah, so for me, my goal is because I try to get them to text me or get on a call with me.
Okay. How do you do that?
Basically just simply tell them in DM, hey, if you're looking for my help and you want to discuss further, here's my number. Please text me your full name and a time I can call you.
Simple.
And it's really simple. The people that do it are serious and then I work with. And the people that don't, I really don't want to work with them anyway. If they're not serious, then the time's not right for us to work, right? Because I have to put my serious clients first, and that's just the reality.
Of course. Yeah, if you have to, like, how do you balance aggressive, well, it doesn't even have to be aggressive, just follow up.
Yeah.
And then saying what you just said. It's like, okay, this person isn't serious. And when we say it isn't serious, we don't mean like, oh, you're not a serious buyer. It just means you're not ready.
You're not ready.
Right?
Exactly.
That's what it really means.
Yes. I mean, it's just like I said, it's having an honest if they want to have the conversation with you, it's just having the honest conversation. Are you ready? Are we ready here? Or do we have to get a game plan going? But for the buyers that just want to DM me about, hey, what's the price on this? And then you ghost me, I'm not going to focus my time on you because, you know, there's other buyers that will be serious and then I can focus and give them a better service. Right. So filtering out like that early on when I was starting to get the leads, I was trying to, you know, entertain all the leads that came in, and I realized it just doesn't make sense. So like I said, what I do is I ask them to text me their full name and tell me a time I can call them.
So that's the filter.
That's the filter right there.
If they end up, no, that's great because you have a rule for yourself that's measurable, that's easy. Yeah. You reach out, boom. If they don't text, they're not ready to.
Yeah. And if they don't text me, then they don't want to work with me that bad yet, or they're not ready yet, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, which is fine.
And I'll focus on the people that just followed 2 simple instructions, right? Text me your name and tell me when I can call you.
I believe the term is a litmus test.
Yeah.
Right? That's really what it is. And that is various cycles in the real estate transaction. Mm-hmm. There are several cases where you can really put someone through a litmus test to see if they're ready or not. Yeah. We see it as lenders as well. The easiest one to see is a credit check.
Yeah.
Right? Especially now that we use soft credit checks and it doesn't affect their credit, essentially.
Which is
it's
good.
The easiest way to tell if someone is ready or not ready.
Sure.
Okay, let's shift gears and talk about the reason why we are here.
Let's do it.
The great Joe Sonona's Lead to List. I believe the title is The Future is Now.
The Future is Now.
Yeah, or The Future is Here. I don't know. It's either one of them. It's probably the future.
Yeah.
Both of them. Sorry, Joe. Forgive us. Can you talk about what your role is going to be at Lead to List?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm one of the panelists.
Yes.
I'm going to just try and speak and provide value to people who come. And that's pretty much my main goal.
Yeah.
Just come and provide value.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so that's the word value, I feel, is a word that's overused tremendously in this business. With the title of the event being The Future is Now, where do you see the business going in the next 5 years that's different to like when you started in the business? Maybe not even 5, in the next year, you could say.
I mean, I'll probably, like, for me, I'm going to be able to speak from my personal experience of where I think it's going with in terms of, you know, the social media aspect of it, where, you know, I'm gaining clients and selling properties directly through a social media platform where I think in the past that didn't happen, especially, you know, the older generation of realtors, that wasn't a thing. Now this is actually happening now. And I think it's just going to you have to lean more into it. And then just obviously the AI aspect of it, which
my next
is,
question.
that's obviously coming, as everybody is saying. So.
How much of an impact does AI have on your business, like now, this second?
Now at this second, not too much, because I haven't implemented the things that I necessarily are planning on and want to. A lot of them are written down to get working on in the next month, but basically before year ends, hopefully implement them into 2026. And then my company Real in general is rolling out just a ton of AI tools at this moment to directly be able to work with buyers and be kind of your AI concierge, which, I'm not going to get into it now because it's overwhelming and it's a lot, but a lot of things are rolling out to make us more productive. And I think if you lean into it, you'll be able to close a lot more clients. And if you don't lean into it, you're going to get crushed by someone that is using it.
Do you think that agents and loan officers even should be fearful of AI? When I say that, I mean in terms of taking their business and replacing
I mean, if they're
them.
not good at their job, and that's got to be an honest, self-reflection question to that individual, there will be less amount of agents or lenders in the future.
I 100% agree.
If you're good at your job and you put in the work and you're good at your job, you won't be replaced. There's always extreme value with especially in our businesses, face-to-face interaction, emotion, stuff like that. But, for the people that aren't great at their job or don't put the time and effort in, I would be worried. I would.
Yeah, I think a lot of loan officers, it's different for us because a lot of our business is paperwork and this, that, the other. And AI will essentially make our business more efficient. The part that's scary to a lot of people is that they have, we even have a department that uses it right now, like an AI voice caller, right? It's more so to vet out like colder leads and stuff like that. But I think you said it best, right? At the end of the day, it comes down to the relationship. Okay, if you're someone that masters relationships and you're able to show value, then you'll buy yourself probably 20, 30 years in this business. Hopefully you'll retire by then. But most people, if you're scared, that means you're scared for a good reason because you're just doing the basics.
Exactly. I 100% agree.
So don't be scared, adapt and be strong.
Yeah, and lean into it.
Yeah, it's not gonna kill you. You know, it's not what was it from Terminator? Skynet. It's like it's gonna come take everyone. I mean, again, you should be aware and use it, but don't be scared that it's gonna take over your job if you're doing the right things.
I agree.
Okay, Josh, if someone actually let me be that person, what would you say is your specialty? What separates you from other people in the business right now?
I give all my clients pretty much the full stack. In terms of sellers, I don't think there's a lot of other realtors out there that truly give their sellers the full stack.
What does the full stack look like? Yeah.
Not only just, professional photos and videos, because there are realtors that don't do that. But not only doing that, is we're doing, 3D floor plans, virtual tours. I pay to be a part of the Zillow Showcase program, which will ultimately get you a lot more views on your listing. Zillow's data shows that you'll ultimately net more money for your seller, right? You're able to AI stage the property in each individual room. So you get the whole works with that. Not only that, you're getting the social media aspect, you're getting the mailers, you're getting my network of people through all my social medias, you're getting it blasted on Facebook groups. All the heavy lifting that goes into a listing, we're providing. And, I may be missing a couple of things because we're on camera here, but we provide the full stack. And I think a lot of other agents don't provide the full stack. They may only do one or two or three things. So I think that's helped us win appointments and win listings. And then in terms of buyer, it's really trying to provide that first class experience, educating them and actually providing value about the home that other realtors may come in and say, hey, this is a kitchen, this is a bathroom. They know what that is.
This is a kitchen.
Yeah, they get that. But can you say, oh, this is, can you get into the nitty gritty about the components of the house, the electric, the plumbing? Can you point out things that they may have to repair or things that they don't have to repair?
And you're not saying this, Josh, from a point like they have to be a home inspector, right? You just have to look out for things that they need to anticipate.
Because they appreciate that, and when they know you're knowledgeable, they want to work with you because they know that you know what you're looking at. So that helps a lot. And just being able to, like, a lot of my clients that I've closed this year and a little bit last year, I may have found them a property that they didn't even see. And that happened this year, I think, on 3 different clients. So showing them a property that's either off market, coming to market, or something that they just didn't even see on their searches and they were looking for 6 months. Right. That's legitimate value as a realtor, right? Because they would have never been able to get into that house or see that house without you, and it turns out being their dream home, right? So that is a huge added value as a buyer's agent as well. And I've done that 3 times this year where buyers wouldn't have had access to this property or wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't for me sending it to them or telling them. So
do you find that is what... Actually, let me rephrase the question. Yeah. What do sellers and buyers respond to most these days? What I mean is, like, not essentially you saying something as a close, but is there a specific value add that each of them, a quality that you bring that they're looking for? When you say it or you demonstrate it, they're like, that's what I need.
Yeah. I can't pinpoint one exactly. All the clients are a little bit different, right. And I also offer different things for each client depending on what I think they need or don't need. So I can't pinpoint one thing, but I think that's why it's important to give them a full stack of everything you can offer, right. And then something in there another agent wasn't doing or didn't mention, and then it's like, hey, we're going to go with this guy. He's doing everything that we want. I think that's kind of what helps.
Yeah, you need a full arsenal, if you will.
Especially with the sellers. The buyer's a little bit different. It's, for the buyers, it's more just being responsive, being educated, and actually showing them properties that they may like, right?
Yeah.
I've had a ton of buyers come to me and say that their previous agent showed them a bunch of properties they didn't even like. So it's like really understanding what your clients may want and not wasting their time. Not so much not wasting your time. Because if you're spending, a Saturday to go show 3 houses to a buyer and they come and say, oh, we didn't like any of these houses, you just wasted your time because you could have worked another buyer that you could have showed them houses that they liked, or you could have showed them this buyer houses that they like. Now you just wasted your whole day. They're not putting an offer in.
So obviously, you would assume that most agents don't intentionally show buyers homes that they don't like. So which ultimately leads to is that you're asking them better questions.
Yeah, you're not
qualifying. Yep. How do you qualify them in that regard to ultimately present them what they need? Which, as I say it, it sounds like a stupid question.
Yep, but
it sounds really, but that's the difference.
That's the difference. Yeah. I think a lot of agents aren't having legitimate buyer consultations, and they don't have to be in the office. I've probably only had a couple buyer consultations in the office. I do buyer consultations on the phone. I also do a lot of my buyer consultations at the first property I show them.
Interesting.
Right? So
how long does that typically take?
And it could be 15 minutes. Okay. Nothing, maybe give or take 5 minutes depending on how interactive they want to be with me or how much the conversation goes. But usually the first property I show buyers after the property is done, we're going to go outside or in the property if it's vacant or whatever the case may be. And I'm going to really then ask you the vetting questions that I want to know. Right. What's your urgency? What areas? What's the price point? What's important to have in the house? Are there any things that if it is in the house, you're going to say no right away, whether it's a pool, whether, whatever the case may be. I want to know all that, and I'm going to get all that. And then when I get into my car, I'm going to go on my notes tab, and I'm going to write down all your stuff, and then eventually, put that into the CRM or whatever. But that's how I'm doing my consultations, and I'm asking the right questions so that when I'm ready to send you properties, I know to send you the right things.
So these questions, the questions that you're asking the buyers, even your sellers as well, communicates a quality that I call GAS, which is GAS. It stands for give a shit.
Yeah.
Right. Is that
That's a great,
because if you're asking these questions, whereas the average agent is saying, okay, like your price point is here and the area is here, and that's kind of where they leave it.
Yeah.
Okay, how many bedrooms? But you're going deeper, basically.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
you going deeper shows that you care, and that is what ultimately builds trust and value with them. It's not just what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's what you're doing says about you as an agent.
Yeah. And it's just all asking the right questions, and not just about real estate. Like, I want to know, where do you work? Right? If they're willing to tell you what they do for work, like, get that idea, paint the picture. Do they have kids? How many kids do they have?
Just before you continue, I know why, but tell us why that's important. Why is it important where they work when you when you're trying to help them figure out a house?
Because then it puts the picture together of like, okay, why do they want to be in this area? Do they need to be close to commute? Or if they're work from home, then they don't care about commute. They want to be in the area for the schools. Then what's up? How many kids do you have? How old are the kids? Also, I notice once you get them to give you this information, and then you say, oh, you're from there, I'm from here. We'll go back and forth as people. Now we're friendly. You know some things about my life. I shared where I'm from, what I do, my upbringing. You told me what you do for work, your upbringing, where you're from, where you grow up. Now, not only are you my client, but now we're more friendly. We're friends. I know more about you. You know more about me.
You're invested.
Now, the conversations get easier as they go along, as they open up to you, they trust you, they like you, you know, so that is a huge component of it too.
Yeah, which is honestly very simple, but I think most people in the business don't do it for a couple reasons. One is that it seems a little bit intrusive at times, but the reality is that this is a fairly intrusive business. It's one of the people's biggest, if not the biggest, transaction of their life. You got to get to know each other.
You do,
right? You got to get deep. And the second is that they probably just don't have the confidence or the gas to do it, which there's nothing that we can say or do to help them change that. It's either you care and you want to help your clients and go deep, or you don't.
Or you don't.
Yeah. And it takes more energy, but it's more fulfilling and it provides better results.
Yeah.
We are running out of time. One thing I did want to ask you, actually, there are two things. Let's do this one to wrap up. If we got time for the second, we got it. Can you tell us about your team structure and your by state business? Because you do some Florida as well. If you could just quickly touch on that.
Yeah. So we just launched the team a couple of months ago. I have not even started to recruit any agents. It's been all organic people around me that wanted to join. I think we're up to about 5 or 6 agents. Looking to slowly grow it. If you are interested, reach out. But, you know, really still focusing on my own personal production as well, but helping the team to help me with that. And I expanded down to Florida about 2 years ago, do a couple of deals every year. It really was just to add another tool in my toolbox, right? You have a lot of the New Yorkers buying in Florida, buying a second place, not only moving down there, but I figured if I'm able to service them in both states, it makes their job and life easier, because now they're dealing with one realtor. I get 2 deals out of it, so I get paid more, and it's a win-win for both parties.
Plus, you get an excuse to go to Florida.
Exactly, which is the biggest one. So that's kind of how it worked.
Love it. Okay, so let's end with that. Josh Pismeny, real broker, lead to list panelist, extraordinaire, absolute monster. And I say that in the most nicest and kindest way. Josh, thank you very much, man.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Of course.
Yes.
We out.